Hey everyone, how's it going? Azrin here, owner of the Calgary Language Nerds, and welcome to another Learn Gujarati with me YouTube video and, of course, podcast episode. Today we're going to do another listening practice episode, and we're going to focus in primarily in the past tense. So the Gujarati past tense is rather unusual, at least compared to English, it's a little unusual. And the reason is that, well, there's a few reasons. One of the reasons is that we have two primary past tenses. There's two, and they blend together. When we tell stories in the past tense in Gujarati, we usually use both of these past tenses. In English, we have one primary past tense, but then the other past tenses that we have, they don't map very well onto Gujarati. It's not like I can say the Gujarati past tenses are this and this. Here's the perfect English equivalence. It's not quite how that works. And so that makes it a little bit tricky sometimes for English speakers to really understand how these past tenses come together and how they really work properly. And so today we're going to practice this together. Okay. If you've not watched, I have some videos on this YouTube channel in the grammar playlist. By the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, there are playlists, and I've organized the content by content type. So there's a grammar playlist, for example, and in that grammar playlist, you're going to find some videos on the simple past tense. You're going to find some videos on the imperfect past tense, and those are kind of the two you're going to want to learn prior to watching this video. Okay, so let me read you a short, really short little text. I've written this out in advance. And here we go. Ravi ek nano chokro che. Te roj savare velo uthe che અને શાળાએ જાય છે. તેને વાંચવું અને લખવું ગમે છે. શાળામાં તે તેના મિત્ર અમિત સાથે રોજ રમે છે. Okay, so that's a pretty easy text. Let me share my screen. I'll show it to you here. This is all present tense so far, by the way, but we're going to switch this into the past tense in a moment. Let me share my screen. So here's the text. Pretty straightforward stuff here. We have the Gujarati text at the top in case you want to read that. We have the English transliteration underneath. In fact, let's simplify this. Boom, even better. Okay. Ravi ek nano chokro che. Ravi is a small child. Te roj savare velo uthe che. So he wakes up early in the morning every day. Word per word. He, te, roj, every day. Savare, in the morning. Velo, early. Uthe che, wakes up. Te roj savare velo uthe che. Ane sharae jai che. And he goes to school. Sharae means to school. Shara by itself is school. Shara to school. So ane sharae jai che. He goes to school. Tene vanchvu ane lakvu game che. He likes to vanchvu. Vanchvu is to read. And lakvu. He likes to write. Tene vanchvu ane lakvu game che. Sharama te tena mitra amit sathe roj ramme che. So Sharama in the school, te tena mitra Amit sathe. So his friend Amit, with, in other words, with his friend Amit, word per word, his friend Amit with. Again, we can really move words around a lot in Gujarati. Like, it sounds funny to translate that literally, but we can move words around in Gujarati sentences quite a bit. The word order is very flexible. It almost doesn't matter where you put the words, almost. So with his friend Amit, he plays every day. This is pretty straightforward. Nothing crazy here. I'll point out a few small things before we switch into the past tense. So you'll notice that here we've used te for he and she, like te roj uteche, tene vanchvu gamet, like these te words. Te tena, let me actually, I know most of you don't read Gujarati. Let's actually work down here. So te roj savare velo uteche, tene vanchvu ane lakvu game che, te tena mitra Amit sathe roj rame che. તે તેના મિત્ર અમિત સાથે yes. તે તેના મિત્ર hang on. તે તેના મિત્ર અમિત સાથે yes, we're good there. Perfect. All of these the's could be dropped to a. એ રોજ સવારે વહેલો ઉઠે છે. એને વાંચવું અને લખવું ગમે છે. એ એના મિત્ર અમિત સાથે એના મિત્ર sorry એ એના મિત્ર અમિત સાથે રોજ રમે છે. But we can also drop that to a. There's no problem. More often than not, when we write, we have te. When we talk, we say a, but they're pretty much interchangeable. They're interchangeable. There's no difference really. Okay. Now, notice when we talk about this, when you look at this in the present tense, right? We've looked a lot at the present tense on this YouTube channel and podcast. But when you look at the present tense, right, you'll notice that these are things that happen. These are things that are happening. I would say, what? Like they're happening. They're happening like habitually. These are like general facts. Ravi ek nano chokro che. It's just a general fact. It's just a thing that is true. It's not like he was a child one day and snapped his finger and grew up, right? He wakes up every morning. It's like a thing he always does. It's like a routine. It's something that happens all the time, right? He goes to school every day. It's a routine. It happens all the time. He likes to read. He likes to write. Again, these are like, it's like a routine. He likes to do it all the time. It's something that is true about him. It's not like one day he did this. No, these are general truths about Ravi, about this individual, right? He plays with his friend every day. It's a repeated action. So repeated actions, habits, things that are generally true, right? In the present tense, this is how we use the present tense. The present tense, let me stop my screen share. In the present tense, we use this tense to talk about things that A, are happening right now. Duh. I'm eating. Yes, wonderful. But we also use the present tense for things that are habitual. I do this every day. And we also use it for things that are generally true. Like I am Canadian. That's just like a general truth, right? Now, when we switch into the past tense, we have a past tense that works the exact same way, but in the past. Things that used to be habitually true. Things that used to habitually do. Things that were true, but are not true anymore. Things that it's exact same. I'm not sure if this is making sense, but it's the same as a present tense, but we just flip it into the past. So, for example, Ravi ek nano chokro che. Ravi is a small child. In the past, if he was a small child, but not anymore, Ravi ek nano chokro hato. In the present tense, te roj savare velo ute che. He wakes up early every morning. In the past, te roj savare velo utto hato. Ane e sharae jai che. And he goes to school, present tense. In the past tense, ane e sharae jato hato or jato hato. Both are correct. He likes to read and write. Or sorry, to read and write. Well, in the past, he liked it, but not anymore. Right? શાળામાં તે તેના મિત્ર અમિત સાથે રોજ રમે છે. So he plays with his friend every day at school. શાળામાં તે તેના મિત્ર અમિત સાથે રોજ રમતો હતો. He used to play in the past. So if I share my screen again, we can look at this together. Here we go. So Ravi ek nano chokro hato. He was a small child. Remember, if we're not going to go through the theory of this tense quite at this moment, I already have videos where I've done this. So if you don't know the conjugation rules, go back and watch some of the previous episodes. But Ravi ek nano chokro hato. He was a small child. Te roj savare velo utto hato. He used to wake up every morning, early every morning. Ane sharae jato hato. He used to go to school, right? Then evantually lakvu gamtu hatu. He used to like it. He did like it in the past, but not anymore. Sharama te tena mitra amit sathe roj ramto hato. He used to play, right? So these are habitual actions, ongoing actions, things that happened regularly, but in the past, right? Now, I told you that the Gujarati has two different past tenses. So let's look at a second past tense right now. Okay, let me read this to you first, and I'll show you. એક દિવસ તે શાળાથી ઘરે આવ્યો. તેને હાથ ધોયા, કપડા બદલ્યા અને થોડી વાર આરામ કર્યો. One more time. એક દિવસ તે શાળાથી ઘરે આવ્યો. તેને હાથ ધોયા, કપડા બદલ્યા અને થોડી વાર આરામ કર્યો. So this is the different past tense. If we share my screen again, this is the completely different past tense. Here we go. એક દિવસ તે શાળાથી ઘરે આવ્યો. So the key word here is ek divas. One day. One day he was doing XYZ. One day he did this. One day te sharathi ghare avyo. He came home from school. Sharathi from school, like shara school, thi from, right? So he from school ghare avyo. He came home. So avyo, this is a simple past tense. It happened once. It's a one-time thing. One time, only once. Tena hath dhoya. He washed his hands once on this one day. Ek divas. He did it one time. Kapra badalya. He changed his clothes. Kapra is clothes. Badalya is changed. He did it one time, right? Versus over here, e nano chokro hato. It wasn't one day he was a small child. He was a small child for a long time. I mean, he was a child for years and years and like a long time, right? He woke up every day. E roj savare velo uttoto. Every day he was waking up early, right? All of this here are one-time actions. So one-time actions, we do simple past tense. Recurring actions, habitual actions, right? Sometimes even descriptions, like a description in the past, sometimes even those are all going to be the other past tense, the imperfect past tense. Why is it called imperfect? I have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea why that's the case. That has nothing to do with perfection or imperfection. It's just what it's called. And yeah, so we have two different past tenses. And when we tell stories in the past, they do bleed together quite a bit. If you haven't, by the way, if you haven't watched the videos on how to conjugate in the simple past tense and the imperfect past tense, there's multiple videos on them. I have a bunch of them in the grammar playlist. Please go into that on YouTube, on the grammar playlist. Watch those so you get the theory of it. And obviously in future episodes, we're going to do more practice, but yeah. All right. So let me read you the whole text one more time so you can hear it in a free-flowing fashion. Ravi ek nano sorry, I'm going to do the past tense only. Here we go. Past tense. Ravi ek nano chokro hato. Te roj savare velo utto to અને શાળાએ જતો તો. તેને વાંચવું અને લખવું ગમતું હતું. શાળામાં તે તેના મિત્ર અમિત સાથે રોજ રમતો હતો. એક દિવસ તે શાળાથી ઘરે આવ્યો. તેણે હાથ ધોયા, કપડા બદલ્યા અને થોડી વાર આરામ કર્યો. So that's that. I'll give you a little exercise here. Watch this video as often as you need to, so as much as you need. Take the sentences that we saw on the screen, right? Translate them into English. So write the whole thing out in English and see if you're able to put it back into Gujarati on your own. Okay, very, very simple way to practice these kinds of grammar exercises. Well, yeah, let's wrap that up there. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. See you in the next episode. Bye. Outro.